quick introduction to the WhiteWhale team. For me, I guess, is that WhiteWhale luckily launched their chain. I think it's a little bit over a month ago now. It's called Migaloo. We're a project back on Terra Luna. They do flash loans, but nowadays also have a very cool application which launches satellite markets on different chains. They'll talk about it themselves, but a very good connection with them, talking over the past weeks to see if they wanted to join HackSecret, and they were very willing to. So I'd say the floor is yours. Thank you for being here, and good luck on your presentation.
Thank you. So guys, welcome to the presentation of WhiteWhale. I'm Senn-com, I'm the CTO of WhiteWhale, and today we're going to talk about how you can participate with or in the hackathon around WhiteWhale, Migaloo, and everything in the ecosystem. So to kick things off, if you watch this video live or watch it at home, this is what you see here on the screen now. This is the place to be when you want any kind of information. So before we start the presentation, it's linktree.ee white_whale. And here you find our social media, website, app, GitHub, documentation, everything you need. So let's start with a little bit of history and what WhiteWhale and the team is all about. So our history starts back on Terra Classic. For those of you who are new in this space, the chain that collapsed and burned $40 billion. That's where WhiteWhale originates from. Back in the days, we had a couple of zones in our protocol that was built around an open arbitrage system. We had, I think, the largest protocol on liquidity on Terra. We were the first to pioneer, and still are, interestingly, after over a year, the first with live flash loans on mainnet. And yeah, we were doing a bunch of stuff there. We were live on mainnet for, I think, 3 or 4 months, and then Terra collapsed. So after the collapse, a lot of teams took the money and ran away, but we decided to stay and continue building. And that's where we are now. So as the team, there are things we do. So first, we run validators. We secure around 12 chains. We're in the active set of 12 chains and secure, depending on the day, 15 to 20 million in value on our validators. We've been doing this for quite a while now. And typically everywhere where the WhiteWhale team goes with a validator, we usually deploy our application there and vice versa. Because for us, it makes sense to support networks, not only on the app level, but on the whole stack, from infrastructure to applications, to community, to liquidity, the whole thing. So as a team, we run validators. Also, as the team, we are the builders and core contributors to the WhiteWhale protocol. So the WhiteWhale protocol is the first live interchain protocol with satellite markets, specifically with DEXs and flash loans across the whole interchain. So we're live on Terra, Juno, Injective, Comdex, Chihuahua, and a couple of more chains in the pipeline. And that's what we're building as well. Then, as per the correct introduction, we also launched our own chain. It's called Migaloo. For those of you who don't know, so Migaloo is a prominent white whale. So there's a pun. There's the WhiteWhale team that runs validators, that builds the WhiteWhale application, and we're core contributors to the Migaloo chain. And they also have 2 different logos. So just that you're not confused here, that's the app, that's the chain. So, and we birthed the Migaloo chain around, 2 months ago, pretty much. I think 2 months and 4 days or 5. And it's a very simple chain with Cosmos and permissionless, but it has all the latest tech from Token Factory, soon Global Fee, interchain queries, and most notably, we are the first chain who ever achieved cross-chain staking in the whole ecosystem. I don't know how I can emphasize this to give it the credit it deserves, but we're the first chain to cross-stake assets. Right now, there are around 100,000 Luna, so not dollars, but actual Lunas, staked on Migaloo. But we'll get into this in a little bit. This is just a quick introduction. So we got our chain. On top of that, and this is also a little bit legacy stuff, because we had the knowledge back in Terra Classic around arbitrage bots, liquidations, and all that. So we decided to just continue building that direction, which is why we have MEV solutions. They're open source. So if you ever wanted to get your hands dirty with flash loans, with skip protocol, with arbitrage between DEXs, or between, for example, the Helix order book and our AMM on Helix, then we got something for you here as well. You can check them out. And this is really, they're good. They're obviously they're simple, just so people can contribute, but they're very good. And we have a very vibrant and quickly growing community of bot developers who build around our open MEV solution. So far, that's everything for the team. So next for the presentation, I'd like to go into more what is the whole vision that we have? What are we building here? And after that, we'll talk about the challenges, how you can get your hands dirty, and I show you around a little bit, where the code is and this kind of stuff. Let's continue with what we're building here. So, and this part, it might take, 10, 15, 20 minutes. It's really important to understand what we're actually trying to build here, because only if you get the idea, then you know what to build, what to do with the challenges, why we need them, and how they play into the whole. So part of the vision is stake whale, earn the cosmos. So I like to introduce our, the WhiteWhale vision and the Migaloo vision by taking the example of a user and just walking you guys through how you would interact with the system. So we have our chain, Migaloo. It's a permissionless CosmWasm chain. So far, nothing special. There is a very small inflation of 4%, and you can get this inflation by staking Whale. Whale is the native token of the Migaloo chain. So you stake Whale, and you earn 4% inflation. Given that the staking rate or bonding rate is a little bit lower than 100%, naturally, you earn a higher APR. So I think right now the APR is at around 15%, if I'm not mistaken, roughly in that order of magnitude. And you can earn that. So you stake Whale, you earn more Whale. So far, so good. Now, we have integrated, we are the first team, as I said, to ship cross-chain staking. And we do this via integrating Alliance. That's a module in the Cosmos SDK. And that allows governance to whitelist foreign assets, any asset for that matter, as long as it is a native asset. And just a side note, IBC tokens are predication measures. And governance can whitelist those tokens and direct inflation. So part of the 4% inflation can be directed to other assets. And that means you can earn Whale by staking different assets on Migaloo. So that's what we did a couple of weeks ago, 1 week to be exact, when we whitelisted 2 liquid staking tokens, B Luna and AMP Luna, to be staked on Migaloo. And since then, 100,000 Luna has been moved to Migaloo. They're staked there, and they earn Whale. So how does this translate into stake Whale, earn the cosmos? It translates into that because as we list more assets, and these assets start earning Whale, the Whale stakers will earn portion of whatever assets are staked. So you can imagine this as a give and take. You stake Whale, you earn AMP Luna, and you earn B on top of your Whale that you earn as well. And when you bring in Luna, so AMP Luna or B Luna, you earn Whale. And of course, and in that sense, it's a give and take. Some Whale Alliance asset stakers, and in return, the Whale stakers get a part of the Alliance assets. And the way we're trying to build this out is that we have a lot of partnerships in the ecosystem for just by virtue of being an interchain protocol and being live on so many chains with validators, with apps. So we have very good relationships with communities, with core teams, with apps on different chains. And we're trying to position Migaloo as really the center of our network, where you will be able to stake all those assets that we're working with on Migaloo. And that translates into a lot of assets that will be earned when you stake Whale. So long story short, you stake Whale, you earn Whale inflation, and you earn a basket of assets. And at the end of the day, just by staking Whale, you will earn Atom, Juno, Luna, Injective, Chihuahua maybe even DOT, ETH, Bitcoin, whatever assets we whitelist, whatever makes sense for the community and the ecosystem. So then we'll encourage people to, or users to, not directly or natively stake on the chain, but to use liquid staking tokens instead. So we have partnered up with two great teams, different chains, with AMP assets and Bone assets. So AMP Whale, Bone Whale, AMP Luna, Bone Luna, and so on. And we encourage users to use their liquid staking solutions for staking Whale. And by that, you encapsulate this dynamic. So you got this token that earns you inflation and this baskets of interchain assets, or maybe even crypto assets. As I said, we could whitelist anything in Bitcoin, ETH, and on. So you got this token that earns you Whale, earns you all that inflation that secures the chain, which leads us to the second part of the vision, namely capture the IBC. So the interchain is growing. There are a lot of new chains coming. Old chains are dying. How can we create a system that captures the dynamic of this? A token that reflects the growth and that helps the ecosystem to do. So you got this token that earns you all the assets, that earns you Whale, and it's captured in a liquid staking token that you can move around. So how do we capture the IBC now? We have our interchain protocol, the WhiteWhale protocol, and that consists of a DEX. And lately, as I said, we have some strategic partners like Backbone Labs and Eris. We're shipping this as a package deal. So every chain we go to, you get our validator. Backbone Labs validates chain 2, so you get a couple of validators that secure and support the chain, and you get a bunch of DeFi products. You get a DEX and flash loans from us. You get certain automations and a liquid staking token from Eris protocol, and you get NFTs and another liquid staking protocol or liquid staking token from Backbone Labs. So everywhere we go with our interchain protocol, we ship this as a package. So on Injective, we have our DEX, we have our flash loans. Backbone Labs and Eris protocol will soon launch there as well. On Terra, we got our DEX, we got our flash loans, we got Backbone Labs there, we got Eris there. Same on Juno, same on Chihuahua, and soon same on Comdex. So we're moving as a package, as a team, as a group, as a consortium. And the interesting piece here is that every time there is activity on our satellite market, no matter where, on which chain, there's a small fee taken. So every time you swap on the WhiteWhale DEX, there's a fee. Every time you take a flash loan on any WhiteWhale satellite market, there's a fee. Most of the fee goes back into the pool or the vault to incentivize liquidity. But some of it is set aside as a protocol fee. And that protocol fee will be used to buy back Whale from the open market every day on every satellite market. So you can think about, we have this suite of products, DEX, flash loans, automations, NFTs, two liquid staking protocols. And the liquid staking protocols, for example, they utilize our DEX. So there's vertical integrations there. And every time there's activity on any of the chains, it directly translates into buy pressure for Whale. So how does this capture the IBC? It captures the IBC in two dimensions. First, horizontally. As the ecosystem itself grows, more chains coming up, we deploy on those chains. So we capture that. If Say comes live tomorrow, we will be there and a capture as being, you have to think, we should product and a suite of products. DEX, flash loan, liquid staking, NFTs, automation. We ship this everywhere we go. If there's a new chain coming up, we'll be there in the first week, maybe even the first day. Neutron comes up, we'll be there. Say, Archway, we'll be there. So, and by that, we capture the Cosmos growth horizontally. More chains means more satellite markets for us. But we also capture it vertically. So if one of the chains picks up, for example, Injective keeps on ripping like it does right now, then our volume on Injective picks up as well. The staking token, it's more lucrative, it generates more yield, there's more activity on our DEX, more activity on our flash loans, and that directly translates into more fees captured. So versus the whole ecosystem with our system. And this is really something that we're trying to do with everything, right? You stake Whale, you earn the Cosmos. And at the same time, the protocol, or the protocols, the ecosystem, captures the movements, the positive movements of the whole ecosystem. And that's our vision, right? There's the last thing, next genomics. So far we talked about what you can do with Whale and how our interchain DeFi's product suite works. Now there's a second component that I think is very important, namely the token. I think what almost all Cosmos projects have in common is garbage tokenomics. I don't want to name any specific projects here, but those who hyperinflate away, make the chain a dumpster fire. And even though the product is nice, what they have, the token is shit. So tokenomics are, I think, a really, really important piece of the puzzle that makes the difference between, yeah, I have a cool product and I hyperinflate the token and after a year my project is dead. Or, hey, I have a good product and good tokenomics, this thing will stay. That's why we placed a lot of emphasis on the tokenomics. As I said, you stake Whale, you earn inflation. There's no hard cap on the token, but there is only a 4% inflation. So there's no hyperinflation, very low and predictable inflation. And for those of you who want to know why, if you want to grow an ecosystem, you need inflation. Otherwise, your token, there's no incentive to utilize the token in DeFi because people will just hodl it and there's no movement, there's no activity, but you want economic activity. And to facilitate economic activity, you need inflation. But you don't want to hyperinflate it, you want to have it low and very predictable. That's why 4% inflation. So, next generation tokenomics. Where's that next generation? Two aspects here. First, the inflation, sure. Then you get, just by having Whale or staking Whale, you get exposure to the whole Cosmos ecosystem, or even beyond eventually. And the value capture. As I said, we have this interchain satellite markets on Chihuahua, on Juno, on Terra, and so on. And they capture value there. Every time there's a swap on Injective, that leads to a fee set aside, and that leads to a buyback of Whale. And that Whale that is bought back will be distributed to the Whale stakers again. So this is something I forgot, so circling back here a little bit. So you got this liquid stake Whale, and Whale or Bone Whale, and you move that to the satellite markets, and there you can bond it. So you have a liquid staking token that earns you Whale and the basket of assets, and then you can move it to Chihuahua chain or Juno chain or Injective, bond it there to our satellite market, and earn the revenue the satellite market makes. So if there's a lot of activity on Chihuahua, a lot of AMP and Bone Whale will likely move there because there's a high yield. So every time a fee is taken, it's set aside, and once a day there's a buyback across all markets. May it be 5, like right now, or 100 in 2 years or 3 years, who knows? Every activity will lead to a buyback of Whale and a distribution to stakers. And there's a value capture. Here, how we capture the IBC. And coming back to the tokenomics here, the inflation. Inflation, as I said, we need this for economic activity and economic growth. But at the same time, and this is something just crypto allows us to do, and this is really amazing, is it allows us to create really new economic paradigms. Because what we're trying to do here, which is really next generation, is we got this inflation, we got the buybacks, we got the exposure to all the Cosmos assets, so you stake Whale and your bag grows because there's 4% inflation. But through a series of buybacks on the satellite markets, there's daily buyback and distribution to staker, and part of that will not be distributed but burned. And there's a second burn mechanism on Migaloo where the transaction fees are burned. So, and if that gets enough traction, we can actually achieve a deflationary total supply. So the longer there are 600 million tokens today, and in a year there might be just 550. So the total supply is deflationary, while at the same time you can stake your token and earn inflation. And that's what we're trying to build here. Long story before we go over to the challenges. So I know it's a lot, so let's just go over it one more time. You stake whale, you earn inflation, you earn a basket of assets, you capture that in a liquid staking token, you move that to any of our satellite markets where there's economic activity through DEX or flash loans that leads to buybacks of whale from the open market every day, which will be distributed to you as a stake or as a bonder of AMP whale or bone whale. At the same time, there will be burn mechanisms on the satellite markets and on the chain itself to offset that inflation. And by that, you have a token that captures the ecosystem, and you have an economic model that captures the ecosystem. So what's being built on Migaloo right now? Most notably, so our token is listed in a bunch of places. So obviously on 5 chains on our own DEX, it's listed on Osmosis, it's listed on Kujira. We have our satellite markets here, Terra, Juno, Comdex, Chihuahua, Injective, and soon Migaloo. Bunch of wallets, bunch of partners we work with, and people building on top of WhiteWhale, on top of Migaloo, are most notably Eris, Black Panther, Calc Finance, and Backbone Labs. So they're part of our interchain product suite they built with us. For example, Backbone Labs builds an NFT marketplace on our chain right now. Calc Finance does DCA, and so on. Given that the chain is only live for around 2 months, I think that's a very, very good start, and I'm really excited and grateful to be working with such talented teams, especially Backbone Labs and Eris. Those guys are really great. Challenges. How can you play here? How can you build with us? So regarding the challenges, we have a bunch of ideas here that we just came up with. Whatever is here, you can take inspiration here, but you don't have to. If you got a crazy good idea, or it doesn't have to be crazy good, a good idea is enough, and you want to do that, do it. Just because it's not here doesn't mean you can't submit something. So when you submit your project, or when you decide to build in this hackathon with us, the winning team or winning project will earn $5,000 worth of whale deposit into your wallet as you submit the best project in our challenge group here. And if the product is interesting, like really interesting, we can discuss further support, grants, and PR and the whole package deal. Everything from raising efforts to grants, PR, the whole package. So before we go over last thing, if you're building anything here, reach out to us. If you talk to us, if we can help you, you will ship this, whatever you're building, in a fraction of the time than if you were to do it just by yourself alone at home. So if you want to participate, do it, reach out to us. We're happy to help you in any form. Okay, that being said, let's dive into it. So WhiteWhale, we have 3 categories here. Migaloo chain, that's a lot of stuff around building whole protocols or tools for Migaloo. Then we have the WhiteWhale protocol. That's not strictly something that's only on Migaloo, because it's on Terra too. It's also on Juno. It's also on Injective. So that's a different category, and you can build on top there as well. So you could, for example, build a DCA product that integrates with our DEX router. So you can access in or DCA in or out any token listed on any of our WhiteWhale satellite markets just by integrating the WhiteWhale DEX router on every given chain. So that's a different category. We got the chain with stuff built on Migaloo. We got the protocol that's everywhere. And then we got MEV. As I said, we have MEV solutions, bots. And if that's your type of, your game, then there are some cool things you could build there. So let's dive right into it. First, build a convenience tool suite that allows users, for example, airdrop to the Migaloo community, or create tokens using the token factory. So that's a really simple one. It's just mostly a front end, or yeah, maybe you want to build a smart contract for the airdrop, but for the token factory, it's just a front end. We do have the token factory that allows you to mint native tokens. So it would be nice if users were able to create their own tokens without using the command line interface. And in that same, on that same line of thought, it would be nice if users had convenience tools to airdrop their tokens to the Migaloo community. And you could bundle that in a tool suite, for example, tools.migaloo.zone. We could host it there if it's good. That just allows the user to play around with the chain a little bit and a couple of nice convenience tools. So this is another interesting one. Build a self-repaying loan protocol that allows users to leverage against the future yield of any yield-bearing asset. So that's a really interesting one because, let me go back here. We have Alliance. We have 100,000 Luna, liquid staked Luna on Migaloo. And we will have a lot of Atom there. We'll have a lot of Injective there. We'll have a lot of different liquid staked tokens. So there will be deep liquidity and a lot of movement in liquid staking tokens on Migaloo. So having something where you can leverage those available liquid staking tokens to access your future yield, that's really interesting. And if you're tackling that challenge, again, reach out to us. We can help you with the oracles. We can help you with protocol design, but that one is a big one. Next, build a decentralized name service for Migaloo. Again, that's not rocket science. There are name services for Juno. There are name services for, I think, Osmosis, Stargaze. But it would be nice to have such a thing for Migaloo as well. So if you're inclined to build something like this, there's a challenge for you here. Then build a project incubator with a launchpad, crowdfunding, ICO, and liquidity bootstrapping. So our chain is fairly new, only 2 months old, but it already got a lot of activity, and there is increasing interest from teams to build on a chain with actually sound tokenomics. Because just on a side note, if you build on a chain and the layer 1 has shit tokenomics, your app will never take off. So when you decide, hey, I want to build something, and you need to decide where to build, good tokenomics is actually one of the most important things. So as there is increasing interest in projects building on Migaloo, it would be really great to have some kind of an incubator that can support upcoming projects with a launchpad, crowdfunding, got some tools for an ICO maybe, or helps with liquidity bootstrapping. And this is not really strict. You don't have to build this all in 2 weeks, just to get your gears spinning here, what you could build. And if it's just a launchpad or just, something for an ICO, that's good. That's something we can start with. Then build a fun game on Migaloo. Emphasis here is on fun. I know it's hard, and normally Web3 devs are not the best game devs, but if you want, everybody likes games, I think, here. And if you have an idea for a fun game, feel free to build it on Migaloo. I think the theme that we have with, the whale and the spaces, and we've got Backbone Labs with the grave diggers, and, Raccoon with the raccoons, and Black Panther with the panther. I think it gives a lot of potential, a lot of meme potential to build a fun game around this. So if you have any ideas and like this kind of stuff, go ahead, build something cool. Okay, next one. That one's a little bit more ambitious as well. Build a stable coin native to the Migaloo ecosystem. The stable coin should be over-collateralized by Whale or algorithmically secured by its own token. So that one, let's put it in brackets because there's a lot of regulatory uncertainty right now when it comes to stable coins. I think there was just a submission to Congress in the US to ban stable coins that are not approved by the US government in the US. So, keep this in brackets. But if that's something you want to still do, get in touch with us. I'm sure we can build something that's regulatory compliant here. Then, next one. Build an index token protocol for the Alliance assets on Migaloo. So again, this is tightly coupled to what we have here with Alliance, because we have so many different tokens, or there will be so many different tokens that will be staked on Migaloo. It opens up completely new economic possibilities. And one would be, as we capture the ecosystem with a token where you earn the Cosmos, as we capture the ecosystem with our satellite markets and our interchain product suite, we also try to, it's a logical next step to build some kind of index token or protocol for the Alliance assets on Migaloo. That's just the next steps. And yeah, let me finish the last point here before I, get to my next thought. So build a project funding service that allows users to lock their yield-bearing assets to finance projects, teams, and efforts using their staking rewards. So for those of you who know Pylon protocol from the Terra Classic days, it was really cool stuff. And what you could do is you could put in your native tokens for, let's say, a year. In return, the protocol stakes your asset and gives the staking rewards to a specific team that you have this Pylon for. And as an incentive to put your tokens in there and give the respective team your staking rewards, you get their token. So it's some kind of a delayed ICO where you fund a team with your staking rewards and get their token back over to it. So that finishes up everything I have to the Migaloo chain. And what I just want to stress here is that Migaloo has the latest tech on everything you can find in the Cosmos. So there's no place with such up-to-date tech around Cosmosm, about IBC, like Migaloo. So if you want to build on the most state-of-the-art layer 1 with sound tokenomics, Migaloo is your place. And another thing that you can only exclusively find on Migaloo is Alliance, that cross-staking, piece of chain infrastructure. That opens up the design space for new ideas, for new protocols so much. We in our core group with our core ecosystem, we're still, brainstorming and trying to wrap our head around what we can actually do with it. Like, it opens up so many design possibilities. And if you want to build something really innovative, use Alliance on Migaloo. You got the latest tech and you got really unique possibilities to build on Migaloo. So, WhiteWhale protocol. The WhiteWhale protocol contains DEX and flash loans and is live on right now 5 chains, including Injective and Terra, and eventually will be live on who knows how many chains. Certainly more. What can you do here? First, we would like to launch on Secret Network. I think everybody in our team likes Secret, but there are some bells and whistles attached to launching on Secret. And if you want to modify our smart contracts to be compatible with Secret WASM, you can do this. And then we could launch on Secret, which is quite cool, I think. Another one, modify our smart contracts to be compatible with the EVM. So I'm personally also very excited about this one. We don't have a Solidity dev on payroll right now, or at least, a full-time Solidity dev on payroll. So if you know Solidity good, like really good, you could port our contracts to the EVM, and then we could launch on Polygon, we could launch on Athmos, on ETH, Arbitrum, and so on. So that's a really big one. Another one, if you're a front-end dev, modify our front-end to be mobile compatible. There's nothing really to add here. If you need designs from us, we can provide them for you. But that has been a user request for quite a while now. We just didn't have the resources to do it yet. But if you like to do this, please do it. It will be well appreciated by us and the community. Next one. Now a little bit more. So build a general purpose DCA tool that allows users to trade in or out any token listed on any WhiteWhale satellite market by directly integrating with the WhiteWhale DEX router on every chain. So what does that mean? We have our satellite markets on a lot of chains, so you have to deploy contracts everywhere and provide some DCA tool where users can select a token they want to put in and then select a token they want to get out. And in the back end, you execute those DCA orders by routing the trade through our DEX. And the nice thing here is, I haven't mentioned this, but something that's really nice for a lot of teams building is we have a standard of APIs. So on every chain, we have the same DEX. So if you build a product, for example, this DCA tool, you build the product and it works on Juno. You can also deploy the product without any modifications to Chihuahua or to Injective or to Comdex, because we have this base layer of infrastructure with flash loans and DEX. And if you build around it, you can really follow us and build alongside us and scale with us. And that's what, on Twitter, you see a lot of people, posting memes of animals riding the whale. And that's really what it's about. So ride the whale, swim with the whale. We move as a first mover to different chains. And then our partners, they follow us. We built the DEX and flash loans, start our validator, and boom, around the corner is Eris protocol with the automation tools of the liquid staking protocol. The other corner, Backbot Labs, Black Panther, hiding behind the tree. And if you build something on the WhiteWhale, you're not limited to one chain anymore. You can come with us on every chain, and we help everybody in our core ecosystem doing this. So we share infrastructure, so privately hosted nodes, so that your front end can run securely. You don't have to run nodes for every chain. We do this for our partners. So we also open a lot of doors. Some of the chains are permissioned, like Comdex, like Injective, but we have a very good standing in all these ecosystems. So if you build something on top of WhiteWhale, that's cool, and you want to scale it, we make it scale, and we will open you all the doors that we have. And that same idea or same line of thought, build a market-making bot for pools on all WhiteWhale satellite markets. So that's something that would use something like a grid bot that, okay. Then around MEV, I think we can just go through those a little bit quick. So if you want to build a liquidation bot for the Comdex lending market or Comdex stablecoin market, utilizing our flash loans and our pools, go for it. We can help you get the connections to the Comdex team. If you want to build an arbitrage bot for the Comdex order book or for the Injective order book or the Kujira order book, using WhiteWhale flash loans and our pools, go for it. And if you want to build an interchain arbitrage bot that stabilizes the prices between AmpWhale or BoneWhale across all satellite markets, but also with other tokens, go for it. We're happy to help you. We have a vibrant developer community that's also very open to helping you. Those are the challenges. Questions?
Yes. How volatile is your token? Like you said, for a market making bot. I'm just like, what's the volatility of your token? Maybe have you measured it? Is it volatile or no?
Sorry, I don't quite understand the question. Can anybody help me out here?
The WhiteWhale token volatility, is it like moving fast or slow?
Volatility?
Yeah.
Charts, man.
Yeah, I was looking for the
crazy.
chat.
Check the charts. It's breaking all-time high after all-time high.
Can you show everyone the docs, just so everyone sees how great they are and where to access them?
Sure. Let's do this. Maybe let's start with the GitHub. So if you go to our GitHub, which you will find on our link tree, the root of all knowledge, our link tree, find the GitHub. You find the light paper, which I don't think you need to read this. We covered this here. The chain repository, front end documentation, and we have a bunch of pinned stuff here. So this is our smart contracts. This is the front end of our app. This is the docs of our app. This is the bots. And this is the chain. Those are the most important things you need. So maybe let's start with docs. Docs. Find all the money. Our awesome docs. Thanks, Kerberos. He's in the chat here. He made most of those, so they're really top notch. Welcome, blah, blah, blah. like a link tree here again, code of conduct, license, blah, blah, blah. Abstract, architecture, oh, that one's broken. Oop. Bug bounty program. So if you find bugs in our code, you can grab yourself some juicy rewards here. Otherwise, you can find everything about our about our smart contracts here. You can find all our deployments. So if you want to know, hey, I want to build something cool on, I don't know, Terra. And then you want to know, hey, where is the router? So I can route my swaps through it. And, boom, there we go. It's really all documented on every chain, all public info here. The pools, the flash loan vaults, it's all there. And if you want to know dive more into the smart contracts, everything is documented here. I think we have one of the best documentations in the ecosystem. And if there's anything that you don't understand or that's missing, feel free to, reach out to us. Happy to help you. Here's more for the liquidity hubs around the pool. So here's really, for example, the router, how to instantiate it, migrate, do swaps. It's all documented here. Everything you need to know for the pools, for the flash loans, how you take a flash loan, how you deposit into it, everything. And
You're saying someone could build add secret to that list of deployments as part of the hackathon, right?
well, we need to deploy it. Otherwise, we probably won't accept it because we don't know what the person actually uploaded there. But if you provide the code, we're happy to deploy it and go from there. Because we want to be the admin of the deployment and so on, just security practices.
Yeah, I don't think we're expecting people to launch mainnet contracts in like 4 to 5 weeks anyway. So that's probably going to be all fine.
Yeah. Who knows?
They can deploy a mock-up version, right, on testnet without any problems.
They're ambitious people here, I'm sure, and very talented. So I'm always open for a good surprise. So yeah, the documentation, we could talk about this all day, but at the end of the day, if you need to know anything, from bots to examples how to call flash loans, it's all here. So if there are no further questions, thank you very much for everybody who tuned in. Great crowd, really good spirit here. And I'm very, very much looking forward to whatever you submit in the hackathon. Again, we are happy to help in any extent we can. If you're building something like with a serious intent, reach out to us and we'll help you ship this thing and actually make a product. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. I think it's quite clear how many challenges you have. Some are definitely secret related, some are not. There's a lot of stuff to build with your project. I think I'm personally very curious to see someone port the satellite markets to secrets. I'm definitely biased, of course. See how it works out, and yeah, see what other kinds of interesting ways you can enable to work with the projects. In theory, people could use, for example, IBC contracts to leverage your satellite markets over all of the different chains, and then aggregate the liquidity to do maybe a vault strategy or whatever, which also could happen from secret. Or maybe you can think of ways to route some of the swaps through a secret for additional privacy. There's a lot of additional things you could think of, but I think this is a very good start to all the challenges and see what people are going to build.
Yep, great summary. Thank you very much.